Neck-throughs, guitars, they're like a guy that you won't have a beer with you.
I want to hear what's pushing the notes.
Freddie King and B.B. King, Albert King, and let's not forget Burger King.
I don't want to blow my knuckle out.
Stainless steel is the work of the devil.
These go to 11.
From the East Amplification Tone Labs in Baltimore, Maryland, it's the Amps and Axes Show. With your hosts, Jeff the Godfather of Low Wattage Amps Bober and Mick Marcelino.
Well, good day to you, Mr. Bober.
Good day to you, Mr. Marcelino.
Oh, it's a beautiful day today.
It's, you know what?
It's a weird day.
You know what? Counter to some people's beliefs, but the sun did come up this morning.
That's right.
And
guess what, kids? It's going to come up a lot more.
Yes, it is. It's going to keep coming up.
Unfortunately, this hamster wheel doesn't end very soon.
I say that's fortunate.
That is a good thing.
I don't want the hamster wheel to stop spinning anytime soon.
No. So. Guess what?
Listeners?
Yeah, man. You guys are kicking it out of the ballpark. We appreciate it. Loving the Greg Mara.
Oh, yeah.
We love Greg.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
And we I can give a little tease. We're going to be interviewing his bass player.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that cat's played with some serious shred
with
meisters.
A couple of people. Yeah,
yeah, he's no slouch in the old bass department. So we're gonna get a good interview out of him.
Awesome.
Yeah, but if you want to go check everything out, you got to go to ampsandaccesscast.com. That's right. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see the episode, all the social media. Please go out to iTunes, give us 5 stars.
Yes.
I know we sound like a broken record with this, but we need you to do this. This helps the show go down the road.
It does.
If it goes down the road farther, we can bring you more stuff. And we want to remind you, every Tuesday, you got to check out
This Week in Music.
That's right, because we do our little thing. It's very short. It's about 18, 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour.
Just
tops.
fun facts. Fun facts from musical history.
Stuff that will blow your mind.
Some of it's crazy. Some of it's like, what?
And I love the Sly and the Family Stone ones. Those are the best because I'm telling you, they didn't show up. He didn't show up to more gigs than he did show up to them.
I got to see him, though. I got to see him. At least as far as I can remember.
Yes.
I got to see the entire band, and if it wasn't him, there was somebody taking his place. I'm pretty damn sure. So
that's beautiful.
Because it was the early 70s. Who knows?
So definitely check out that show. That kind of breaks up your week. Then you got this show on the weekend.
That's right.
When you do go to ampsandaccesscast.com and you go underneath both episodes, you're going to see our good buddy from up north,
Jason Saditas.
And he gives us...
Quick Lick.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And he got a little injured. So
we were Sansa week because there was a little injury involved, but he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
And he's back to playing.
And,
so, we think.
Yeah. Speedy recovery there, Jason.
Yeah, speedy recovery.
Matter of fact, this episode was right before Greg's, and just an awesome guy. Does so much for us.
Yeah,
and doesn't,
absolutely.
It's just like, he's like, hey, can I give you the, and he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, sorry for what? That you didn't give us something for free again? Come on.
Yeah. Sweetheart of a guy, man. Sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah, so real quick.
He lives up in the country there. People are going to start moving to.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that.
All I know is that from what I understand through Facebook, when I was on Facebook, the traffic should get a lot lighter around here. So I'm just waiting because really it took me like an hour and a half to get here today. So,
it gets crazy. Jesus, man.
Maybe they were all going to the airport.
That could be.
Now, if that's the case, the ride home should be a lot quicker.
I would drive. It's close enough from here to drive.
Yeah,
it's close enough to drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
So I wanted to bring up, there was an article that I saw. It was one of these rock thing, there's tons of stuff on the internet now. And they were talking, the internet's full of stuff. Believe me.
Yeah,
stuff that can either educate you or piss you off. You got your choice. So this was one of those ones that didn't piss me off. It was kind of cool.
Cool.
They were talking about guitars that rock.
Okay.
Right? And you have your standards. You know, you have these standard type guitars, your Les Pauls,
I was going to say Les Paul standard.
your Strats.
Yes.
Right?
The mainstays.
You know, even the Gibson Explorers and the Flying V's and all those. But they kind of took the one which I was like, well, that's kind of cool. It was the SG.
Oh.
Right? They said, that guitar,
It does rocketh.
it has been associated with some guys that have really made it this mainstay kind of guitar that what's neat about it is it doesn't cost a fortune. Mm-hmm. Like a Les Paul can get very costly depending upon what model you get. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, the SG still stays in this nice little bracket. You know, you're like, well, it ain't so bad.
Except for the Les Paul SGs.
Exactly. Well, any of the NOS stuff or custom shop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just hand them a credit card and cry.
Mm-hmm. And it better be black.
Exactly. But it was neat. And of course, when, I saw it, of course, who other than Angus Young was literally the spokesmodel for this thing. Now you had Pete Townsend. He used an SG for a while with
absolutely
2 P90s.
Yes.
And Frank Marino, Father Frank, his was a custom kind of job because it was 3 singles.
Okay, also 2 P90s early on, Santana, Woodstock.
Absolutely. And then, and this is kind of like skewed. So Tony Iommi is associated with the SG, but the first ones were Jay Dee's, which were made in England by Jay Dee Guitars.
Oh, wow.
And I'm trying to get him on the air with us because he made the number one, what was it called? The Poor Boy, or I forget what it is.
I don't know.
It has a nickname.
Okay.
Like Brownie.
You mean Iommi's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he
like
actually...
Brownie and Blackie.
Yeah.
Okay.
He actually makes a replica of that exact guitar with the picks under the pick guard and everything.
He still builds?
Still making them.
Wow.
Yeah, and he makes several versions. I think he makes a neck through version. He makes the set neck version, and all of his are 24 frets, except for, if I'm not mistaken, the Donington Angus Young model. He makes a model that looks like Angus Young's, and it's got the lightning bolts. And Angus, believe it or not, did get guitars from Jay Dee.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he makes a lot. He makes Flying V's. He's made Explorers. He's made all kinds of guitars that look like the Gibsons, but they're his brand.
Wow.
And from what I understand, the pickups are like Filtrons or something. They're different. They're not the same. They're not humbucker type pickups. They're smaller.
Or P90 styles or anything.
Yeah, they're very, I don't know. I have to read more about it.
Okay.
But that's what he puts in.
Filtrons and an SG. Wow, that'd be
Yeah, whatever Iommi uses in that original one is not humbuckers.
interesting.
Yeah,
I never noticed.
And I guess I should have been a little bit more prepared, but anyway.
It's okay.
It's all out there.
Yeah.
You can see those things. And I
will uplook it.
Yeah, but from what I understand, they're all handmade.
Very cool.
They're about $3,500. But you're getting it 18 months. 18 months to get a guitar from that guy.
You're going to pay at least that for like a Gibson R9 RO.
Well, you're going to pay more.
You're going to pay more than that, right? Exactly.
About $6,000.
Actually, nowadays they've gone up to that. Yeah,
about $6,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is more handmade than that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he posts out on Instagram all that. He makes basses that look like old Alembic. Okay. He posts out there basses that look like that.
Nice.
Neck through with the 5-piece neck, it's really cool.
Very
Check
cool.
him out on Instagram. It's under Jay Dee, and it's JAYDEE guitars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
initials, but 2 words.
Yeah,
J-D.
absolutely. And he's the real deal. He's the guy that made the original Iommis and all that. And it was like, it must have been this lag. I'm thinking that he built those first guitars for Angus and Iommi, and then was doing like probably luthier work during those years.
Sure.
And then now it's like, no, production, man. You go out to his website and you can get this one and this one. You can get a standard one,
That's pretty
which
cool.
just or a custom. So it'll look like a Gibson SG Les Paul type custom.
Wow.
Yeah. It's cool, dude.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I wonder why Gibson hasn't sat on him, but there must be something just different enough.
I think if you look at it, the horns are a little bit more offset than the Gibson.
Okay.
The SG is a little offset. This is a little bit more drastic, but it's not enough that you go, what? Yeah. And the 24 fret thing.
The one you go, what is the Guild?
Yes.
It looks like it. No, it's not.
Yeah. And that was made famous by modern artists more than anybody else I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Would be Soundgarden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I knew a guy had one. Thing played like a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Guilds, man, they were good back in the day. They were well-made guitars.
They're actually being made again.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Fender bought the name for a while,
and then
kind
they
of
got
sat on it,
and then they bought.
And then someone else just recently bought the name back and is actually making Guild guitars again.
Pretty wild, isn't
it? It's very cool. It's very cool. Just one more. I just wanted to mention. I'm still deep into the Bruce book. Bruce, and of course he wasn't a SG or a Guild guy. He's a Telly guy,
Yeah.
Who,
the guitar that makes you play.
Half of his Tellys, or maybe all of them. I don't know how many, but I know probably all of them back in the day, or at least most of them back in the day, were loaded with Barden pickups.
Yes.
We've had Joe on.
Yeah, we have. 5-parter, by the way. You can check it out on the archives there.
Oh, that's right. That was Barden Sweeps Week.
Yes, it was.
So anyway, so I'm still reading that, and really, really interesting book. And a lot of people don't like when artists get political in their songs, but I'm up to the point in the book now where he explains why he began doing that.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very interesting read, man. I mean,
it's kind of ironic.
With where we are,
right now.
Today.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he would have liked to have been playing for his chosen candidate yesterday, and that didn't happen. But we woke up, the sun was shining before it rained. Before it rained, the sun was shining. But anyway, our guest today has an association with Bruce.
Speaking of rain,
speaking of rain, very good.
There we
very
go.
Good. Our guest today is kind of a local legend in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
He has a band called Hard Rain. He also played with a band earlier on called Joe Grishecki and the House Rockers, who Bruce is very familiar with because Bruce actually produced one of their albums. He's been known to sit in with them, occasionally. Nice. And our guest's current band, Hard Rain, is going back in the studio again for their umpteenth CD, and it's going to be produced also by one of our past guests.
That's right,
Mr. Ricky Witkowski.
Yeah.
So the whole damn thing ties in.
It's just a big, giant melting pot.
It is.
The hell I'm talking about.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. So we're going to be back with the fondue that is the Amps and Axes show with our guest of the week of the famous Pittsburgh band Hard Rain, the front man and the singer-songwriter himself, Mr. Bill Toms.
Hey, this is Greg Mara, and you're listening to Amps and Axes.
So we're back as promised with our guest of the week, all-around nice guy, a singer-songwriter, front man of the Pittsburgh band Hard Rain. Welcome, Mr. Bill Toms. Bill, how are you, my friend?
Oh, great, Jeff. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's good to be here, too. The day after God knows what happened, but okay.
Let's get this pretty quick because we don't know if we're going to be here by the end of the show.
That's a little more gloom and doom that I hope to hold near and dear to my heart right now, my friend. Jesus, wow.
Here we go.
Yeah, well, we wanted to have you on this week because you've got this cool event coming up in Pittsburgh over the Thanksgiving weekend, and we will get to that. But like I like to do with all of our guests, I like to jump in the Wayback Machine and, go back to the beginning of, where Bill Toms was born and raised and how you got into this wonderful world of music. So give us a little history, man.
Well, born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and just sort of came up through the ranks, I guess, out of high school in the local music scene. This is the late 70s and early 80s, and, started writing songs pretty much right out of high school and playing guitar.
Well, was there anybody in your family musical, or where did the guitar gene come from?
Well, actually, it's funny because I played the trumpet. My father was a horn player, and my mother played the piano. My sisters both played piano. My grandmother played piano. So there was a lot of music in my house. And as a kid with older sisters in the '60s, there was always music, especially soul music. And so it just seemed to be like there was always music, rock and roll, pop music of the '60s and the soul music, the Motown stuff. And so as I got older and, of course, when you're 14, 15 years old and, you pick up a guitar and, the girl that's standing next to you says, "Oh, you look pretty nice holding that." And, well, that's... the trumpet goes right into the closet.
Yeah, no groupies for tuba players.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't, things weren't working out for me for that. So, I picked up the guitar, but I always loved music. Music always took me somewhere else, And as a kid, I was very, I don't want to say very shy, but I was introverted, I guess, like most musicians are, and as you got into high school, you kind of not sure where you fit in, and music gave me purpose. Rock and roll gave me purpose, I think, and so that's where it all began for me, and just started playing in local bands, and actually I never really played in somebody else's band until I joined up with Joe Grishecki mid 80s, and we formed Joe Grishecki and the House Rockers, and I was with that band for 20 years. But before that, I just had my own bands, that we played.
Now, was it, were you doing a lot of cover stuff? Had you started doing a lot of originals or that early on at that point?
Well, we always did originals, but not to the extent, especially, of course, trying to play the clubs, at that particular time, was kind of hard to do original music. So, we did, if you get like 5 songs, 5 originals out of the night, you were lucky. Mm-hmm. But I was always writing. I always really wanted to be a writer more so than anything. And when I joined up with Joe, who was actually playing with an old drummer of mine, we kind of got together, and I actually just started really concentrating on the guitar more for those first 5-10 years,
And what were some of like the first guitars? You remember the first guitar? Do you still have it?
No, no. Actually, it's hanging on somebody's wall.
Oh, nice.
Not as far as I know, it's still there. It was sold. I gave it to somebody that I played in a band with. It was called a Savoy guitar. I got it when I was 15 years old. And the strings were about 1 inch off the neck.
Of course.
So, you figure it's so you played that for a little bit just to get the muscles in your fingers going. But that's and actually it is. I signed it for somebody, and they have it on their wall somewhere.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Acoustic or electric or?
Electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was just a knockoff of some sort of Fender knockoff, I guess it was.
Mm-hmm.
But and then when I really decided that I needed to have a real amp and a real guitar, my mother took me to the music store, and I think I got a PV amplifier.
Okay.
And a Stratocaster. I remember it was a Stratocaster, and this was probably about 1979, 1978 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Went straight from Savoy to Strat. That's pretty cool, man. That's I mean, you said your mom took you. Obviously, they had some faith in what you were doing, and were behind it.
Right. Yeah. My parents were actually, interesting enough, they were supportive to a certain extent. Obviously, I mean, my father was a steam fitter. He didn't know anything about playing music for a living. I mean, that was something that was foreign. But he said, I remember him saying to me one time, he says, "I don't understand a thing about it, but if you're going to do it, you better do it as good as you can do it." So
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So that's where that all started from,
Wow.
And then I think I went on and I had a Rickenbacker too early on, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually owned one in my lifetime.
Yeah,
and never really. I just never bonded with it. I never really played it a lot.
Did you have the one that had the frets that were angled a little bit because you could play 30% faster?
Obviously, I did not have that one.
That was actually a selling point for
really.
Yeah, they ran. I don't know which model.
Yeah.
But they ran model that the frets were just angled so it fit your hand a little bit better. I think they were angled from the top down. I think it went towards the treble side, just a little bit.
The bottom towards the treble.
Yeah.
So it was like
whatever way your hand would lay.
Right, almost the first fanned kind of thing. Wow.
Exactly.
Not that extreme, I guess.
But it was not multi-scaled.
Okay.
See, they all went the same exact way all the way down. See, a fan job is that, the lower strings at like a 28-inch scale, but the small ones are like 24 3/4, so you get the same tension.
Well, yeah, but it also I think the fret angles follow the arc of your arm.
Of your hand, yes. Your hand moves around, yes. It does that, but you get that multi-scale, so you get... it's Bizarro World. They say it takes about 45 minutes, and then you can't go back to a normal guitar. But no...
Well, that would suck, too.
The Rick was designed... It was the same exact scale across all 6 strings...
Just angled,
but they angled the frets so you could play 30% faster.
Right. And this was scientifically proven, I'm sure.
It was an actual number.
Science,
yeah, right. No, that was selling point, not science.
I love that, right?
Yeah, I didn't have that one, nor could I play it. 30%.
I don't think I had that one either because I don't remember going faster.
Let me while you guys chat, I'm going to look up which model that was.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So you got the Strat and the PV, and then started to do the high school band thing, I guess, right? With that.
Well, this was right out of high school,
okay.
And just a local scene, and we're playing anywhere that they would hire us. I mean, I remember the first job that I had was with my first band. We were booked in some kind of club. I remember. From it was like a 5-day gig, Wednesday through Sunday or something.
Nice.
And I think after the halfway through the second day, we got fired.
This isn't working out for us guys.
It wasn't for them, I guess. But
that's fun. But I mean, it used to be so cool when there were so many clubs and so many places to play where you could go in and set up once and play a 3 or 4 or a 5-day stint,
Yeah, that was pretty normal, actually.
Yeah.
Back then, and, you played your 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours,
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, the younger musicians now, and not that it's bad or good. I guess it's better, but they've got they put these 5-6 bands on an evening, and the bands are only playing 45-minute sets.
Right.
It would take us like a year to get like a 4-hour where you had to like entertain people for at least 4 hours.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of music.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of music.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time, and you're doing 3 sets. In those days you did 3 sets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
So,
I had a guy.
how it is.
I had a guy one time. He's like, "Hey, our guitar player's sick. Could you play this gig this weekend?" And I said, "Well, let me see what you got." He handed me a set list. It was 60 songs. I was like, "I don't know like 58 of these, so I don't think I'm going to be the guy."
don't think I'm your guy.
I'm like, "You guys actually know 60 songs?" I was blown away by that. I was like, "I don't know 60 of anything. I don't think."
That's crazy. Yeah, it is.
I've got an answer, by the way, to the Rick question here. It was the 1973 Rickenbacker 481 electric guitar.
Wow.
And it came with right-handed, right slant.
Right slant.
Yeah. So actually, the treble, the bass side was slanted towards the pickups.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just a very slight slant. It wasn't anything real drastic like a fan guitar. It was actually just a little bit of a. I don't know why.
Because you could.
Well, I think thing was that like they do today, right? With the fan guitars, it's like reinventing the wheel. They're always trying to do this thing to come up with other ideas. I guess you
have your own identity.
Yeah.
Right.
How about the way it was made?
Right. Just learn to play a real damn guitar and learn to play it real good.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
that's what somebody was asking me about learning. When we came up and learning these songs, in the 70s, and they said, "Well, didn't you listen to a lot of Kansas?" And I said, "Well, when I was learning guitar, Kansas wasn't the first thing that I was going to put on to learn to play." I mean, what the hell are you talking about? Learning Kansas.
So you didn't learn all the Frank Zappa and Yes and Rush and
Dixie Dregs?
No,
Dixie Dregs. Oh my God!
No. You didn't do all that?
No, I don't think. I probably turned it on and then ran screaming down the street.
Right. If this is what it's going to have to be, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I can't do this. Yeah, I remember when I first heard some of those guitar players, like I said, drag Steve Morse. People it's like, where do these scales and notes come from that you're playing?
You don't start there, that's for sure.
No, you don't start there. And half the time you don't even start with the Beatles unless it's like a 3-chord early thing.
Well, it's like I've said though, speaking about Steve Morse, when you hear him do an interview, there's a lot of gaps. I think when you have these excelled, you go crazy excel on one thing, you kind of lose some normal things.
Yeah.
And when he talks, it's like there's gaps in his speech because I think he's moving ahead so far that words kind of just disappear.
Or he's just subconsciously coming up with new riffs, in the back of his head as he's speaking. Right. Yeah. That could be.
Yeah.
So you started writing early on, and do 5 original songs in a night somewhere. When did you start recording some original stuff?
Well, we did a little bit of recording with. I had a band called The Shades, but this was probably 80, 82, something like that. That we did some recording. Actually, we were signed. We signed a record deal with a record company called Zanzibar Records with a guy named Nick Sensi here in Pittsburgh. And Nick Sensi was sort of famous in this area for. Do you remember those novelty records where they would be interviewing a politician and then have a song play in the background?
No,
back in the they were kind of hits like back in the 70s, and he was famous for that. But he also worked at Motown, and
so he put a music bed behind the interview.
Yeah, like he would say something. He talked to Richard Nixon or something, and then the OJs would be playing. The answer would be the OJs, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were novelty.
Yeah.
Like a
But
Dr.
they were-
Demento type thing or something.
Yeah, but they were kind of hits. There was a couple of them that he had going, but he made a lot of money with that. And then they signed us to this record deal, and the guy, his partner was actually the drummer for the Doobie Brothers, the man that just died a few years back.
Huh.
Find his name.
Oh man.
The drummer for the one of the drummers for the.
I was going to say,
Brothers.
yeah, they
have two.
Two, right?
But he just passed away. But he was a partner, and I remember going to this, going to their office over in Swissvale area and signing this record contract. There was one song that we had that they wanted, but they put us in the studio and we could never actually get what they wanted. And I think the record company kind of folded after that, so nothing ever happened with that.
Was it Keith Knudsen?
No, it starts with an H.
Okay,
his
hold
last
on.
name.
Hold on, I'll find it.
I'm sure you'll find it. So, okay, that was with the Shades.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that typical 80s kind of stuff back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Typical 80s post, like new wave-ish,
Mm-hmm.
John Hartman?
Kind of.
John Hartman?
No.
I'll
is the Doobie Brothers drummer.
Okay.
Just keep going. You'll
This
figure it out.
list of people in the Doobie Brothers. you may as well just ask me.
That's funny.
I mean, good God.
Hossack.
Hossack? Okay.
Oh, yeah, Michael Hossack.
Mike Hossack, yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I'm coming up with the guitar players' names, which they of course didn't play drums.
I wish I could show this list, Jeff. I've got to show you this list. There's like 200 people on this,
and they're still growing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a lot.
Rotating cast
Every
of
couple
characters.
years, it's like
Wow, that's crazy.
there's a lot of people in this band.
Mike Hossack, yeah, we stood in a room with him and Nick Sensi and signed a record contract.
Wow, interesting.
So that went nowhere. We thought we were on to something.
So actually, pretty much nothing got recorded from that one?
Not that I know. I mean, I probably have something laying around that we did some demo work in the studio, but nothing ever got finished. I know that.
So where did it go from the Shades?
And then the band broke up pretty much right after that.
Well, that had to be a devastating blow when you can't. The recording just went south, and the record label doesn't want you anymore. So that's grounds for just the whole band just breaking up right there.
Oh.
Yeah, and I mean, we were so young too.
Sure.
Everybody thought, well, okay, this ain't working. Let's something else will happen.
Right.
And you really don't know. I mean, we didn't have anybody that could actually lead us. We were so naive that we didn't. We had some good songs and we had some good players, but it just no leadership. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So
where did it go?
Went nowhere.
Where did it go from there?
Well, I put something else back together again after that band broke up, and we played for another year or so. And that's when I got the call, because I had been friends with the House Rockers, the Iron City House Rockers, and I had been friends with those guys, and I knew them, and our old drummer was playing with them at that time, and I got a call that said, from Joe Grishecki, he said, hey, why? Actually, I had filled in for their guitar player one time. And a couple months later, I get a call from him that says, would you like to join the band? And their band was actually 6 pieces. He says, well, 3 of the guys quit. so there's only 3 of us now.
Would you like to join the new band?
Yeah, so we're going to put this together as a 4-piece.
Wow.
Bass, drums, and 2 guitars. And I said, okay, yeah. I mean, and at that time, my band wasn't really doing a whole lot, so I didn't have nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, well, we're going to play the Decade next Saturday.
Ah.
Now, this is Monday.
Here's a list of 60 songs to learn.
There you go.
That's right.
You understand where that was going to go, So I like crammed for days and just crammed all these songs into my brain, and that's where it all started with that band.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
and the Decade, I guess, was a pretty decent place, a pretty well-known place to play.
Yeah, and I mean, I think back on it now. I mean, it was, at the time, and the Shades played the Decade too, but the Decade was probably the club in Pittsburgh that you wanted to play in the city, because it was, I mean, the Police played there when they came through, U2, Stevie Ray Vaughan stopped down there all the time, whenever he was in town. So the Decade was the place you wanted to play. And the Iron City House Rockers actually made it famous, because that's where they got their start, signed their record deals. And
oh, wow.
so here I am coming in after, not even a week's learning these songs and playing with the guys that made the place famous. Looking back on it, if I'd have known all that in my brain, I'd have probably puked.
You'd have probably freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any better, so it was good.
Wow. Now, if I remember a story that was told to me correctly, you guys actually opened for Stevie Ray at the Decade?
Not at the Decade.
Not at the Decade.
We opened up for Stevie Ray at the amphitheater at Station Square.
Oh, okay.
They used to have an amphitheater. It's now a soccer stadium, but we opened up for him there. Yeah. Not too long before he died.
Yeah, that's around the same time that I was working with him. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I wasn't on tour with him, but I was, doing some work with him. So let me see, where do I go? To the Iron City House Rockers, I guess, turned into the House Rockers. Did they drop Iron City when they changed the band?
Well,
or did it go back to Iron City?
It went through a period of where that band broke up, and then it became when we were a four-piece. It was just called Joe Grishecki and the House Rockers, and that's when we got right after I joined the band. We started writing. Joe had a bunch of songs written, and I think we wrote a couple of things together on that first album, and we got the record deal like 6 months later, really, with Rounder Records.
Oh.
And did two albums with Rounder Records. And that's kind of like where it went from there,
Mm-hmm. Now, was there someone of note producing one or two of these?
The second album was produced by Bob Corbin. He was a big guy around here, a Corbin Hanner band that they wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people. They wrote songs for Alabama, a lot of country stuff, but he was the producer for that second record.
Now, I guess maybe I'm mistaken. I thought at some point in time Bruce was doing something with you guys.
Yeah, that was the fourth record.
Oh, fourth record.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was called American Babylon, and that was 95. And yeah, Bruce Springsteen produced that one.
Did you get to work directly with him?
Oh yeah. We actually, I guess Joe had recorded a couple things with Bruce in New York, maybe 2 songs. I think it was 2 songs he recorded with Bruce in New York. Then they flew the band out to L.A. and we recorded the rest of the album with Bruce Springsteen. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
At his house, actually. So it was.
Oh, cool.
He did it right there in his own his studio.
Mm-hmm.
Thrill Hill.
Yeah, very
That's
nice.
probably worth a couple bucks.
Yeah, just the experience alone. Yeah.
Well, I mean the studio itself.
The studio. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not state of the art or anything.
I'm sure it was.
I think it looked pretty nice.
Well, if it's good enough for Bruce back in the heyday, it's probably pretty damn good.
I think it probably fits the bill.
Yeah. How was he to work with?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it was. People always ask me about the experience of working with him, and the thing that I remember the most is how at ease he would make you feel. And then when you I mean, you guys know too that when you're working with somebody that's very, very good, very talented, it brings out the best in you, and he was able to do that, I think. So I always felt very comfortable working with him. And I never felt like I had to try to be something that I wasn't.
Nice. Good. Yeah.
He always made it feel very, very, very at home in the studio. But one thing that people ask me, what did you learn from that experience? And one of the things that I did learn is the idea of focus and concentration and being very much into the moment when you're in the studio like that. There was never any. We had a good time, but there was when the play button went on, it was all business.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah,
he's a very focused artist.
Yeah, and I'm in the middle of his biography right now, and there's a lot of him speaking about studio experiences and how a lot of times they just didn't work. For him, So, are you a big gear guy? Is gear really important to you? And what were you once you started getting into the house rockers and things? What was your rig like, and then has it changed substantially or at all?
Yeah, it got lighter.
That's because we get older.
As I got older, it got lighter.
That's right.
I think when I joined the band, I was playing through a Marshall cabinet with a Music Man 100 head.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Why? I don't know, but that's what I was playing. And then I went out and I started buying Fenders, and I probably, I'm trying to think now exactly what I had, but I played a bassman for years, and I really got turned on by the 4-inch speakers. I'm really.
You mean the 10-inch?
Or the 10-inch speakers.
The 4 10-inch speakers, yeah.
4 10-inch speakers.
So it was a tweed bassman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I played that for years, and then I went across the street. We were recording that first album, and I went across the street. We were doing it in the south side of Pittsburgh, and I went across the street to the music store, and I found a Reverb Rocket.
Ampeg.
An Ampeg Reverb Rocket. And I think for $200, and I picked that up, and I used it. I literally used it for gigs, and there are still times when I use it now, and this is almost 30 years ago I bought that. And I'm sitting here looking at it right now, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
I've got it. It's always sitting in my basement. It's a Reverb Rocket 2. I believe it's a 63.
Ah.
So, and I've used it. It's not really roadworthy, though.
Right.
But recording with it's always pretty cool.
Oh no, they're great amps, man. A lot of those old Ampeg amps are really diamonds.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, yeah, that's it. Mick just pulled it up on the computer here. I don't even want to say diamonds in the rough. They're diamonds. They're fantastic amps.
Yeah.
I hadn't played one for a long time, and we were doing some rehearsals a couple of years ago, I think for one of the Beatles shows or something, and I went over to a friend of mine's house. We were rehearsing in this basement, and he had one of those, and it was the first time I plugged in decades, and I went, oh my God, I forgot how good these amps are.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, and fantastic reverb in them.
And I also have an Ampeg, I think it's an early 70s model of the 410s.
VT40.
VT40, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got that one too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I played that one with the House Rockers for years too after the basement. Cool.
So,
and now I have my my main amp now is a Fender Hot Rod DeVille.
Oh, okay. Okay, those things are. I mean, they're ubiquitous. They're all over, and they're a mainstay for like backline companies.
Right.
And if you get used to playing one of those, you can pretty much go anywhere. If you're doing fly dates and things like that, you can just go, give me a DeVille. And it's there, and you know what it is. And, a lot of guys just play that clean. They bring a couple of pedals and bang, it's done.
That's exactly what I do, Jeff. That's exactly what I do.
So what kind of pedals are you using?
Well, I got one. I got a Boss dual overdrive that I use that they don't even make anymore.
A dual overdrive?
Yeah. And I kind of liked it with the house rockers because, you hit one button, it made it real loud, and then you hit the other button, and it made it even louder. So, but they don't make it no more. It's a dual overdrive. And I also use an old Dan Electro delay pedal.
Huh.
And an EQ, and that's all I use.
Oh, really? An EQ?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Those some guys use them, but very, very few,
I had a friend of mine had an MXR.
EQ?
EQ, and it actually was foot switchable. See, the first ones, when they came out, they didn't have the switch.
They were just in line.
That was
period.
it. You either had it or you didn't.
Right.
And then after a while, I guess they hey, let's put, so you could color the sound of the guitar before it got to the amp.
Yeah.
Kind of like a parametric EQ, I guess it would be.
Yeah. Well, there are graphics, I think.
Yeah,
right?
they were.
Slides.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What am I thinking?
Well,
yeah. Never mind.
There's parametrics have the you can set the Q and the center frequency and the level.
I'm thinking of the Furman PQ4 or PQ3. That was a big one.
Okay.
That a lot of people, it was Dimebag. it was Pantera that came up. He figured out how to make a Randall not sound as bad as a Randall sounds. So he took the parametric EQ, stuck it in the front end, and it actually gave the guitar a little bit of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of guys. Put them in the effects lip too to really just change the tonality of the amp.
Yeah. Yeah, it will too.
Oh, for sure,
because it's a plug-in.
That's right.
It's got 120 volts going to it. Because they were. I guess they were active,
AC powered.
Right? Wouldn't they be active?
Well, they're all active.
Yeah. So that would, yeah.
But you can color the sound of the amp if it's in the whole after the overdrive. You can color
a lot of it. So.
Yeah. Billy, guitar wise, man, what have you gone through over the years, and what's your favorite?
Well, my favorite was always my Fender Tele Deluxe. It's a 72, really worn in. I've got a problem with right now. I got a problem with one of the frets. I need a fret work over here with that one. So, but that I used that one. Oh my God! I think I bought it in 89, 88, something like that. Just about the time that I was having back problems because I was playing a 72 Les Paul Custom. And it was real heavy. And, I got this disc problem that I had surgery on. And, I found this Tele Deluxe with the humbucking pickups on it that it was like 3 pounds lighter. So for just that reason, and I bought it for $200, I think, it was like $150 or $200.
That's another good reason.
Yeah. So I bought it, and
they're great guitars.
And now I think it's worth a couple grand.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Those tides are rising.
Yeah. And, 3 pounds doesn't seem like a lot.
When it's on your shoulder, it is.
All night?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, 4 hours on your shoulder. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people go, oh, it's only 10 pounds. It's only 11 pounds.
Right.
11 pounds. You can hold 11 pounds out with your arm. Yeah, do that for
How
4
long?
hours.
Exactly, for 4 hours, right.
Oh, by the way, you're going to have this thing. It's 2 inches wide that's going to cut this groove into your shoulder. If you're lucky, it'll be 2 inches wide.
Right. Yeah, mine are all twos.
Some of those pad, little tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing like a saw going through your shoulder.
So, I have that. I have a 79 Telly that I had since forever.
Oh, nice.
And I just recently, maybe about 2 years ago, I got a one of the reissue thin lines.
Oh, okay.
So that's nice and light.
Yeah, and I like that guitar. I've been playing that a lot lately, and I like it a lot because it seems like through the 10-inch speakers on that DeVille, it just got a warm. The bottom is really tight, but it's warm. You know. I don't know.
Yeah, I do find a lot of times that like the 410s, even though they're 10s, 410s can just have a bigger bottom than a 212. You know, there's just more cone. It's
40 inches.
Yeah,
right. It's 40 inches instead of 24.
Exactly.
If you think about it, yeah,
you gotta. I mean, it is that way.
right. And the 10s actually have they don't have quite the low mid, but they've got a nice, if it's the right amp and it's set up right with the right rig and everything, they have a nice jangly but not brittle top end. You know. And,
right.
It's
in the way I play, you know, I mean, it's more rhythmic, you know, I mean, like a lot of rock and roll. So you're playing that bottom end, you know, skanking, you know what I mean, the Chuck Berry type of thing too. And you know, sometimes through the 12-inch, it sort of like breaks up a little bit. That I don't really care for that. So I like those 10-inch speakers.
Cool. Yeah, rhythm's its own thing, you know. I mean, there's a lot of guys that can, you know, shred a million miles an hour, but you know, give me a good rhythm player, man. I mean, somebody that's in the pocket, you know, has got the feel and the power on top of that, you know.
It gets kind of poo-pooed.
It does,
you know,
but you know.
Well, I think you know, and I teach guitar too. I still have a couple students.
Cool.
And what I try to tell people is that, you know, I always go back to that old Keith Richards thing, and he said, you know, when he goes and buys a guitar, he doesn't buy a rhythm guitar or a lead guitar. You just go and buy the guitar. And I kind of take that mentality. You know, you have to play. You know, you have to work around all the chords. You know, and that means you have to set up your movements between your scale patterns and your chords, and you have to do all that in between stuff and coloring, and you know, to me that's the ultimate, is that in between thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, you don't just strum a guitar until your solo gets there. You know, I mean, there's all kind of other things going on.
Well, some guys might, but the real rhythm players know what it's like. It really can make or break a song. You know, somebody just strumming a rhythm, or somebody actually playing with vigor and energy and the right voicings and the right power behind it, or not at times, you know, and
well, you know,
understanding the right hand too. I mean, if you're a right-handed player,
exactly,
understanding the right hand, you know, I mean, so there's all kind of different things like that.
Well, you know, I'm going to bring up my favorite guy is Malcolm Young.
Okay.
Because Malcolm, if you listen, Angus is in the right speaker, Malcolm's in the left speaker, and you hear the complementing that goes on. And that is an art within itself.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, his brother is kind of like, you know, out there in the front, but that back end is doing these different, and I'm telling you, everybody goes, it's 3 chords. Yeah. Take a listen one time. There's a lot more than 3 chords going on.
Yeah, and sometimes they're played and sometimes they're not. And sometimes part of it is played.
That is the weird part.
It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of space.
Yeah.
Even between chords.
And he'll rob a chord, you know, of the root and just play the other parts, you know.
Absolutely.
And then Angus is doing the other side. And it's like, that must be something in their DNA.
Yeah,
because they do that very well.
Yeah,
you know. So it's.
Well, I just listen to, you know. I mean, you go back to the Stones and listen to "Get Your Yah-Yahs Out."
Oh yeah.
I think I learned every nuance of that record.
Definitely one of my favorite records.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you listen to that. I mean, it's unbelievable the interplay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because you really couldn't do too much of that because it was live.
Right.
You know, so you're really going to hear the true what goes on, because in the studio, of course,
there's
you can work that thing, massage it off 6 ways a Sunday. But when you're live, man, you're kind of out there. And they could have edited out that girl that kept screaming, "Paint it black,
paint it black, you devil."
Yeah,
that's right. All right, so that, I guess that brings us to now. You got Hard Rain. What is what is Hard Rain? Is it a 3-piece, 4-piece, 5-piece, 6-piece? What do you got going on nowadays?
I guess you would call it the original band is a 6-piece band. It's Hard Rain is a 6-piece band. But now in the last year and a half or two, we've added 2 horn players. So we have a horn section. So we have Bill Thomas and Hard Rain featuring the Soulville horns. So now we're 8-piece.
Wow. So it was 6-piece without horns. Wow.
Yeah. So this new record, and we're just in pre-production for a new record. We start recording in February at our friend Ricky Wachowski's.
Love Ricky.
With Will Kimbrough coming up.
Oh, nice.
From Nashville, and this will be our 3rd record with him, and so it's going to be with I've been writing these songs that feature the horns, that feature the it's more of a rhythm and blues mentality. So
nice. Well,
looking forward to it.
Totally looking forward to that. Yeah. And you've got an event coming up soon around Thanksgiving,
right?
And I hear this is not the first time you've done this.
No, this is my wife Joyce and I. This is our 11th year for our Thanksgiving benefit show, and we do it at the Hard Rock Cafe the night before Thanksgiving, and we invite as many of our friends and musicians that will do it, and usually we never get a turn down.
Nice.
Everybody's very generous with their time if they're not working, and we usually do it every year. We pick a different cause, usually something that has something to do with our community, whether it's a food bank or whatever it may be in our community. The Children's Institute, we did that for a couple of years, and this year we're going to do the same as we did last year. And it's for our local chapter of the Society St. Vincent de Paul.
Oh, okay.
And it's a great organization, and I didn't know too much about it until a friend of mine who actually is the head of the local chapter told me a lot about it and took me there and showed me what goes on. And this organization, St. Vincent de Paul, is an amazing organization, helping families, that can't pay their bills, that need furniture, that usually they're the last in line, and so it's a fantastic organization. We raised close to $8,000, I think, last year, so we're going to try to do it again this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now this is at the Hard Rock downtown Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Very good. So if any of our listeners are happen to be in the 8 o'clock on Wednesday?
8 o'clock on Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving. And it's just a fun night. We just have a great time. A lot of great musicians, fantastic musicians come down.
Awesome.
So there you go. If you have family members in town and you ready to rip your own hair out, just go on down there and have a good time.
That's right.
Heck yeah. We'll have you home by midnight.
Very good. Well, fortunately, we are actually going to go out there this year, so we will see you.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Wait. Yes, it will.
Cool. And we get to see Ricky as well, because I hear Ricky's going to be there.
Yeah, Ricky's coming in. He'll be. We'll have a guitar army.
Very nice. Well, I'm very much looking forward to it, man. Very much looking forward to it.
Me too.
So,
thank you.
Excellent. All right, Bill. Well, thank you very much for being on with us. And
before we go, do you have a website?
Oh, Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's www.billtoms.com.
All right. Well, that's going to be up on
TOMS.
that's going to be up on our website
That's
on the
right.
front page, and then when it goes into the archives, it'll live in
Perpetuity.
That's right. So definitely go out there, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Check out Bill's stuff. You're in pre-production for a new album now, which would be album what number?
9 or 10, I don't know.
Nice.
Damn.
There you go. There you go. So, check out all the early ones, buy all the early ones, and then get ready for the new one, man.
There you go.
Get ready for the new one. You going to be playing any of the new stuff at the Thanksgiving show?
I'm not sure. We played a new song last week. I'm not sure. It depends on. We have so many guests. That's the problem. We have so many guests that I'm not sure we're going to have time to be breaking out new songs.
Well, that's right. I got some learning to do, by the way. Jesus.
Yes, you do.
I have one quick question before we get off. I always say, and it's never a quick question. It's just a question. I have one question. Okay. So when you were hanging with Bruce, does he do everything like he does on stage? So like, does he go, we're going to eat dinner in 2, 3, 4? Does he do that? Or does he... Sorry, I had to... I stole a little Adam Carolla.
He brings in Max to count down dinner.
I got
He
you.
slides through the kitchen. Actually, on his
Throw it to
knees.
the big man.
That's right. Throw it to the chef. Too funny, man. All right, Bill. Well, thank you so much, man. And
hey, guys, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Much continued success. Best of luck with the event, and keep making some good old rock and roll, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Jeff
All right.
Mick.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. And there you have the story.
That's cool. It's very cool.
Bill Toms and Hard Rain.
Yeah, a little bit different for us, but you know what? It's all good because he's he's been in the trenches forever.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he's and I mean he really is a legend.
Oh yeah,
out there.
Yeah,
and like he was saying, Bill Bruce produced some Joe Grishecki stuff. He knows Joe. I'm sure there are pictures floating around of Bill and Bruce on stage.
If there is,
and I'm sure there's video.
They're going to be up on our Instagram.
Yeah, because I know Bruce is if he's in town, he used to sit in with those guys. So
that is pretty cool stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe if Bruce isn't doing anything on Thanksgiving, and
well, that'll be different.
He might show up this year. So.
Maybe we'll get a Bruce Springsteen interview.
There you go.
How about that?
Well, I tell you what, I'll be there if I see him. We'll get him.
Absolutely. A lot of back in the day.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So until next time, my friend.
Of course, because we're going to do it again.
That's right. I'm Mick Marcelino, and you?
I'm Jeff Bober.
And we're always saying,
onward.
Be sure and follow the show on Twitter @AmsonAxis. Also, make sure you like the show on Facebook. For news, comments, and everything else, visit the webpage, AmsonAxisCast.com. Thanks for listening.